Announcing the arrival of Her Excellency Danielle Heinecke, Australian Ambassador to Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. UNIMAP official song, LAWATAN. Please be seated. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Salam ilmu keikhlasan kecemerlangan UNIMAP. Salam Malaysia Madani. Her Excellency Danielle Heinecke, Australian Ambassador to Malaysia. Welcome. The Honourable Professor IR Dr. Muhammad Shukri Abdul Majid, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International. The Honourable Professor IR Dr. Rizal Fendi Ismail, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation. The Honourable Encik Rusdi Putih, UNIMAP Bursa. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome all of you to the Ambassador Talk by Her Excellency entitled Strengthening Australian and Malaysian Ties Through Education. Welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Her Excellency. Please welcome Her Excellency Danielle Heinecke as Australian Ambassador to Malaysia to begin with the talk session. Please welcome.
Selamat pagi, it's great to be here, and I'd like to acknowledge the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Dr. Muhammad Shukri. Really great to thank you for welcoming me here today. To all the faculty staff that are here and students. I feel quite overwhelmed learning that all of you pretty much have engineering backgrounds, maths and science. So I feel like I'm surrounded by all these brilliant people, and it was great to see the colourful buildings and what they represent. From all the different faculties. So yeah, wow, you're really doing a great job in creating the talent that Malaysia needs for the future. And I love your song too, it's very catchy. So, really happy to be here. It's been great to be in Perlis. I'm proud that so many people have turned out here at the University of Malaysia, Perlis today. And really pleased that this is my first visit to Perlis. I tried to come at the end of last year, but and I'm sorry to hear about your floods that happened in late November, early December, and all the people that were affected by those. We also in Australia have floods. At the moment we've actually had them a lot over summer, so we understand some of the challenges that you have. We heard about some of the sort of mitigation measures that actually Perlis has put in place yesterday that I'm sure have come from many of the great engineers that have been working here and studying at this university. So I think there's a lot to do around making our lives better around floods. So it's great to finally make it now that the floods have subsided. And I want to talk a little bit about education ties with Malaysia. Deputy Vice Chancellor RMIT, so many Malaysians have had a connection with Australia over 70 years, the 70 years that we've been present here in Malaysia. So we have around 500,000 Malaysians that have studied at Australian universities at some part in their career. So 500,000 alumni, which is actually the highest of anywhere in Southeast Asia, even though Malaysia's a much smaller country than many of your neighbours, than Indonesia and the Philippines, the number of alumni is much higher. So I really want to thank you for those connections, those people-to-people connections that we have through education. And I think you're probably aware of some of the ministers and others that have become ministers and have had an Australian education, people like YB Heinecke, Dr. Adiba, the Vice Chancellor of Monash here in Malaysia. Examples are Ni Weiwei, CEO and First Women of UOB Malaysia. So it's great to see not only great alumni, but also many women that have come on to do these jobs after being an Australian alumni. I want to talk a little bit about Perlis now. So Brian Liu is a prominent Perlis alumni who studied biotech at Monash University. And he was the founder and CEO of Lob Holdings, best known for Southeast Asia's largest bubble tea chain, Tea Alive, which also has outlets in Australia. So many great things come from education, whether that be around engineering that many of you are studying or entrepreneurialism. But now it's getting onto UNIMAP. Our ties are really strong here as well. So really pleased that UNIMAP Centre of Excellence in Geopolymer and Green Technology has research relations with the University of Queensland in the field of geopolymers and electric materials following an MOU that was signed in April 2015. So that's like 11 years of research partnership. An Associate Professor, Dr. Ong Hu Lin from UNIMAP School of Materials Engineering was awarded the Endeavour Leadership Australia Cheong Kong Research Fellowship Award in 2019. She was sponsored to conduct research at Deakin University, Geelong for 5 months. So Malaysia is actually our 13th largest source of international students, with almost 15,000 students studying in Australia in 2025. We also really want to use the opportunity to encourage more investment from Australia into Malaysia. And that's part of the current Australian government Southeast Asia economic strategy to 2040. So this is a bit of a shift in the sense that this isn't about promoting investment from Malaysia into Australia. It's about getting our companies out into parts of Malaysia to do what they do. So forming partnerships around supply chains. And I think a lot of those things that are happening in the tech sector, which I know many of you are aspiring to work in or teaching your students to work in, around renewable energy, around new technologies that are coming out of renewable technology, that's the future. And I think that's where the roles that we play around joint research and innovation and then trying to bring those products to commercialisation is where we can have some really great partnerships between Australia and Malaysia. So you might also be aware it's not just about trying to attract students to Australia. We have a number of campuses here. Probably the closest one to here is University of Wollongong, which is my hometown actually in Australia, which has a campus in Penang. But we have Monash, of course, 2 in Sarawak, Swinburne, as well as Curtin. So over time, we want to be part of Malaysia's services sector in education, and I think I can see from the board I saw out there how many international students you've also attracted to come to UNIMAP here. So it's really great to have those international connections as well. We also have a program called the New Colombo Plan, and this brings students from Australia to countries like Malaysia. We've had almost 5,000 over the last 10 to 12 years that have come to Malaysia. We have 2 different types of students that come. Some just come for like 2 to 6 weeks and they're here to really get an experience, to experience another culture, meet people from another place, see a little bit of the country. But the ones that we're really focused on is the scholars. So we've now had 65 scholars that come for a year to a year and a half. And we'd like to try and get some of the scholars to come here in the future. And they learn Malay and they integrate into the community. They hopefully will live on campus and they do part of their degree here at your university. So that's, the government's trying to really scale up the long-term scholars. So we will really be making some efforts to try and get some here. Sounds like a great place to be a student, with 90% of the students living on campus. So it must be really fun. Yeah? I don't think I've been to a university where that many people live on campus, so obviously that will bring a great student life to people that come. So, going forward, we also have recently announced an MOU between our Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Education here, and our Ministry of Education, and that is hopefully going to increase the learning and collaboration, particularly around new technology, how teachers teach, etc. So we're hoping that it's not just about higher education, it's also about broader education. So looking ahead, just on a few really specific things, we're pleased that Australia will be working with Perlis on one of your key products, the famous Harumanis mangoes, or the King of Mangoes. So in the first half of next year, Australia is going to run a technical workshop on mango pest surveillance systems in Perlis and Penang. And it will be an excellent opportunity to exchange knowledge and ideas and build on the already strong agricultural relationship between Australia and Malaysia. So we really hope that those types of technical exchanges can improve the production and the agricultural aspirations of Perlis. I can see, having been here just today and yesterday, how much of an agricultural base you have, and heard the aspirations of many in government to try and modernise that sector to be able to produce and do more of the manufacturing around food here in Perlis. So I think that's a great opportunity for collaboration. So as we continue to strengthen our education ties, we encourage alumni, so any alumni that we have, to share their stories from Australia by capturing it in our QR code. We're trying to get it up on screen. If not, we can share it separately. And that means that that will also give you a link to follow our social media platforms to keep up to date with some of the opportunities that we have for alumni and for teachers and others. We do have a PhD twinning program that we run every year. We have many opportunities for collaboration and research as well, where there's grant programs, so please look out for those. We always advertise them on our socials, so hopefully we can connect many of you through your areas of expertise in the future. So looking forward to meeting some of you individually after this, but it's really great to be out here. I've heard a lot about UNIMAP. I had no idea about the sense of the scale of the university, the large number of students, the large grounds. It's a really beautiful place, and you're lucky to go here. So thank you very much for hosting me today, and hopefully we can strengthen the institutional links that we have through students, through research, here with University of Malaysia in Perlis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency. Now I open up the floor to the audience for question and answer session.
Hope it's not too hard.
Good morning, Madam Sir. My name is Farizo. I'm one of the faculty staff here at UNIMAP. So it's very comforting hearing your talk about the collaboration between two countries. So thank you about that. I would like to expand your talk about the research. So I work on Harumanis mango here.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I work with what we call a low-income community in the villages around here. I was in Indonesia 3 weeks ago, and we visited Harumanis over there, and they had benefited a lot on ACIAR grants from the Australian government.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Malaysia is not listed as countries that can receive the grants. So, from your perspective, or from your view, what can we do to bring the technology? I know the mango farms in Australia, a large mango farms in Australia. You have a technology that we don't have in here. So how to connect those two without this ACIR grant?
Yeah, so thanks for raising that. So one of the reasons that Malaysia can't access ACR is because Malaysia is a higher middle income country, so it's targeted at the lower to medium income countries in the region, so that's why. But one of the reasons we funded the workshop around, I know that's not necessarily around probably some of the things you're targeting at, I think that a good place to start is to focus on this new workshop that we've got up and running, which we've been able to argue to get Malaysia included into. So we're trying to increase the access for Malaysia, but unfortunately your GDP per capita is higher than many other places in the region, so it means we can't always get it. But thank you for raising it. I can certainly ask whether there's any further opportunities or whether there's any loopholes. But I think if we can start with the workshop that I mentioned, are you in touch with the people running that? The one that's going to be held, we've only just recently found out about it, so it's pretty new.
Not yet.
All right, well maybe we can get your card at the end and we'll connect you with our agricultural counsellor in the High Commission.
Sure.
And she could connect with you just to see from that, maybe there's some links we can build from that workshop. But thanks for raising it.
Thank you very much.
Any more questions? Maybe from that side.
Hello, good morning to Madam Danielle. And I have one question. What is one piece of advice you have for Malaysian students that wanting to act as student ambassadors for their country while studying in or within Australia?
Oh, so I think the first place to start is always local. So being a leader in your own community, wherever it is that you've got passion and interest, is the best place to start. And if you're doing that at home, that will always lead to opportunities to go overseas, whether that be short-term or longer-term type scholarships or partnerships that you can have. So doing what you love and following your interests, I think always gets you there and gives you those leadership opportunities, is my personal advice. Don't try and be what you're not, who you're not, and follow your passions. I'm sure that's why you're all here, isn't it, at this university, because you love what you can do with engineering. Yeah. Good question. We can always do informal questions later. People might be nervous in a big group.
The middle side. We are done with the left and the right hand side. Middle of the hall.
Hi, good morning, and again, assalamualaikum to everyone. My name is SYED. I'm not from UNIMAP. I'm from Polytechnic TUANKU SYRAJUDDIN, which is a neighbouring institution. On behalf of my students, I would say, for Polytechnic, we just produce diploma students. Okay, so what are the opportunities for diploma students to further their studies in Australia? Any special channel for them?
So you're really lucky in Malaysia, because the Malaysian government does actually sponsor strong performing students through MARA, through some of your GLCs to go overseas, whether that be Australia or other countries, so or domestic scholarships. I think looking out for those scholarships that happen through your government agencies is probably the best opportunity. And they do send a lot. I think we have around about 500 MARA students in Australia at the moment, most of them probably in the STEM area.
Hello, Danielle. I'm Tini, actually from Universiti Malaysia, neighboring state of UNIMAP. First of all, thanks to UNIMAP for inviting us, me and my colleague here. Would love to meet you again. Actually attached with the Consulate of Malaysia in Sydney for 5 years, so it's good to hear the slang again. So actually, UNIMAP actually have sent a couple of their PhD students to study in Australia, and I'm specifically do look after a few of UNIMAP students studying in Sydney, and I think there's 2 or 3 and has come back, and they have achieved a very high level of PhD, and they have come back and served UNIMAP at the moment. And Australia and Malaysia has good relationship and a strategic partnership, especially in education, agriculture, defense. So I think UNIMAP and also UUM can take this opportunity with you here and your networking, and we can do something, we can arrange something with the High Com office, with UNIMAP and UUM to do something great in education, higher education field. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for raising that. People that study come back and then they contribute here. I think that's a really good example of how we hope scholarships and research partnerships work. So thanks for raising that.
All right, thank you so much, Your Excellency, for the enlightenment just now. Please remain on the stage. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm cordially inviting the Honorable Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International, to join Her Excellency on the stage for the presentation of token. Thank you, Her Excellency. Thank you, the Honorable Prof. Okay, Her Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, with that marks the end of our Ambassador Talk session this morning. I express my heartfelt gratitude to Her Excellency. Thank you for visiting UNIMAP this time around. Okay, and the audience. Okay, thank you very much for your support, and let's hope that we meet again in the near future, inshallah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us rise together to sing the Semangat UNIMAP song.